Is your name Matt? Yes.
Let's have a cheers.
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 Thank you for doing this.
Thank you. Tim and Finn here with our continuing series, How to Make Money to Travel.
I feel like we're in our newsroom again.
High school news.
Thanks, Tim. We're here with our friend Matt today. Say hi, Matt.
Hello.
Matt's from England, and that is going to be really fun to listen to his accent all day. But apart from his beautiful accent, we also have some great content to share with you because Matt has a full life of travel. But apart from what you see online of all the Insta-worthy photos, Matt's just a guy who likes to travel. Matt, when was the last time you posted an Instagram photo?
About a year ago, I think.
Nice.
Proof right here that you do not have to be a full-time Instagrammer or a travel blogger to travel the world. So that's why we have just like pulled Matt onto camera here to ask him some questions about what he does for work to give you some more ideas beyond kind of what we've shared already in the series.
We'll also be joined today by many neighborhood roosters, so you'll hear them in the background. That's just a reality of Mexico. Este es Mexico. This is our first time ever interviewing somebody too, Matt, so we thought we'd start with the lightning round for you.
Okay.
Tecate or Coors Light?
Teagle.
Teagle. UK, Great Britain, or England?
So I'd say England most of the time.
Thanksgiving or 4th of July?
4th of July?
Okay, that's the right answer. Perfect. English breakfast or ginger?
Toffee. Ginger these days, I think.
Ginger.
10 years ago it would have been English breakfast, but you know.
Congratulations, you started it off completely
Let's take
correct.
cheers. Good job, everyone. We're through the first round.
This is your first very serious question, by the way. What does your grandma think it is that you do?
If you need, well, she knows what a computer is, so if you need your computer repaired, I'm the guy to do it.
Okay.
How she thinks I get this work, or when I'm moving around, and do I just go and post flyers every time I get into a new place or something? I don't know, but yeah, I'm a computer repair guy.
Okay, we all have to kind of like make up things that we tell our family that we do because it's complicated. Can you tell us what you actually do to support yourself?
I'm I'd always say a coder, but most people say a software engineer. So I basically build websites mostly, back end and front end, for some, at the minute, like some clients that I've got back in the UK.
How long have you been doing that for then? I mean, like, because we talked earlier, you didn't go to university for this, you're kind of like self-taught on this.
I had like another job, like a sales job, which I didn't really like, and I wasn't really making any money, so I taught myself to code in my spare time, and then managed to kind of find a couple of clients and carried on doing the job until like the client work kind of built up enough to get enough money, and then we did part-time at the job and carried on working with the clients, and then eventually went
At the
out.
sales job, you
Yeah,
did
yeah,
part-time.
it was,
Okay.
yeah. So, and then eventually when I was kind of busy enough to cover myself, then I moved away.
You didn't self-teach the coding, then become an employee for somebody else. It was always a side gig. You always got your own clients.
Yeah, any job that I have had hasn't involved being a coder.
So you had to sell yourself from the very beginning on that then.
Yeah, I think I was quite lucky. I did just word of mouth, like someone would hear that I'd built a website for someone, you know, and then you just end up getting another one. And but also you're learning as you're going. So like when I was building websites back then, like if someone it would always be a yes. So if they asked me if I could do something, I'd just say yes to it, and I'd be like, is that even possible? And then go back and like research it, and then spend ages learning it, like, and yeah. So it was a very, very long process. So you're not really making any money like for a long, you know, the projects are taking a long time. Things are going wrong because you're just learning as you go. And also I feel like online earning was quite like there was a lot less of it then. So you were just kind of just Googling stuff and going what you find. Yeah, you're just learning as you go.
So you're doing that for a few years. You're like building up your client list. Then eventually there has to be like an inciting incident, or just it comes over. You're like, I don't want to live in Brighton anymore. I want to go live somewhere else and still do this. Like, what happened there?
It's weird. One of my friends said to me one day that like what I was doing did allow me to work from anywhere, and I just kind of agreed with them, and then thought like I could kind of do that, and then but never did it. And it was, you know, and I suppose it was kind of a bit of a dream thing back then, and it was only like a couple of years later that I suppose I just got a bit bored of Brighton, and I had a motorbike, and I thought, screw it, let's just go do like a month ride around Europe a bit. So I rode through France down to Italy. So yeah, so I planned it all out, and I was just working along the way, just staying in Airbnbs. And yeah, I got back from that, and I don't know, I just kind of got the taste for it a little bit then. And then I think I was just one night I was doing a bit of research, and then I came over Like I came across Bali and a co-working space in Ubud. I don't know, quite like the idea of that, so I started trying to like plan that out. And then at the last minute, that's when I noticed that there was another one kind of under construction in Canggu. I was a bit unsure whether it kind of was real or not in a way. Like you just see, it's under construction, so you don't know what you're going to turn up to. But I decided, okay, screw it, let's just go to Canggu and see.
What's the worst that can happen? You're in Bali.
yeah, exactly. But it was very daunting. But I booked in for 2 months. I planned to go for 2 months and I ended up staying for 4. And that was kind of my first, like that was in 2016. And then I went back to the UK for the winter for some reason. I don't know why.
Obviously regret it.
Yeah, and then
further emphasize the fact that you should be on the road.
And then January 2017, I left and just didn't really go back. Just started like go from Thailand to Indonesia to some other places.
Well, I thought there was going to be like some dramatic, inciting moment at there. Like, I guess we didn't have that either. It's even more casual than that. Like, go try it for 2 months. If it doesn't work, it's like just a plane ticket back, and you had nothing to lose.
I was lucky that I did really get on with it, because I don't know, like if I'd just done that 2-month test and hadn't really enjoyed it, even though I could have enjoyed the next time, like where I don't know whether I would end up staying at home or I don't know. Like, luckily it all went well. Kind of met some cool people.
I hope we're included in the cool people thing, but probably not. I guess I can go back to what are some of the challenges you run into working remote? Because it's one thing when you're doing it in the same, at least, country as your clients, but I don't know, just things you run into and obstacles you've had to overcome being remote all the time.
I think everyone would say Wi-Fi, obviously. Like you just,
You never know.
Most of the places you go to, Wi-Fi is very up and down. I don't know, there's not really that much stuff. Like I feel like I've got everything in my bag. I've got everything now that I need. Like from experience, I kind of have everything there. I've got my mini office. Like I've got my second screen.
Can you tell us, your kit?
What's your setup?
Yeah, so just laptop, like a good stand, but everything that's minimal. So I can fit everything in like a small rucksack. I've got like a second screen which I use sometimes.
It's currently our viewing screen for Game of Thrones on Sundays. That's our.
It does second as a very, very small cinema screen.
And you have the very important piece of stuff. He's also got a proxy, or a VPN.
Oh yeah, VPN for various things.
So we can actually log into the US.
Yeah.
HBO
to watch Game of Thrones. It's mostly about how to watch Game of Thrones around the world.
It's very important.
Your clients are all in the UK, right? So they're all in the UK time zone. Like, how do you manage then different time zones around the world? If you're in Asia, if you're over here in Mexico, what are they, 7 hours ahead from right now?
Yeah. So when I was originally going to Bali, I thought I was going to be working throughout the night. So I would be doing English hours and then just chilling in the day. But it just that plan changed within like 2 days of being in Bali. And yeah, like it just.
So did you tell them?
Oh yeah.
Oh okay.
Yeah, it's not. Like all the stuff's not mission critical. I think people just like to have you there, but when you're not, things still work. Like if your quality of work is good, then yeah, you just make it work. Like occasionally, there has been occasional phone calls that I've had to, especially been out on a Friday night, and then suddenly you need to have a call with someone at like midnight. So you kind of you're out with friends, and you got to duck into the co-working space at midnight and jump on a call quickly and pretend everything's good. Like you just make it work.
Do all of your clients know that you're remote, or sometimes is it easier just not to bring it up? Like because why would they need to know so long as the work is being delivered, right?
If I'm speaking to someone, especially newer clients, I don't normally tell them. Mm-hmm. It's weird. Like sometimes people have a weird attitude of some people will be like, oh, you're obviously getting paid too much if you can be living in, I don't know, it's somewhere that costs like a lot less to live. That makes no sense.
It's the idea that you're living a life of travel, so you're living a luxurious life, you mean?
Yeah, which...
Whereas like your cost of living is actually lower.
Yeah, I feel like most people a lot of people that you meet are doing, they've got a startup or something, so they need to keep their overheads down, so they do this to keep their overheads down, because you can come to a part of the world where it's a lot cheaper to live, eat, etc.
For somebody out there who is watching, thinking about going remote? Like, do you have any advice for somebody just starting?
I suppose, especially going with like some of the good co-working spaces and stuff like that. Like when you get there, you're surrounded by a lot of people, like potential clients, like people that you meet, people that are in the same situation.
No, that's huge even there. Like I forget how much help we got from even just seeing people at like Dojo in Bali, like doing what you're talking about, like just even meeting you, being like, oh, you can actually work and have a real job and make pounds and live somewhere else.
Yeah, that was a huge moment for Tim at the end of the trip, going to Bali and seeing those people being like, oh, we had our year of travel, saving and traveling, but look at all these people working and traveling, just like, you know, what, it feels probably crazy sitting in like the city or the suburbs of
Sure.
the US because you don't know anyone doing that, but all of a sudden then like now we've been out here in those co-working spaces, you meet all those other people that have a similar lifestyle.
I think a lot of it's drive as well. I've met a few people there in Dojo that have maybe they've been there, like they've been traveling and then they've kind of been coming into Dojo for whatever reason, but it's not their full-time thing, but then they go home and then they change their life to accommodate. Either they go home for a longer period and they train themselves up to do something which allows them to work remotely, or they move from their current job to another job doing the same thing, but with employers that allow them to do it, or they ask their current employer, can I work remotely? And do it that way. And I feel like if you're really kind of got the drive to do it, then it's not that difficult a thing to do.
What was the time frame between I should probably go down this path to you're reaching out to your first client?
Well, I suppose my situation was different in that I almost had the client straight away, but I really didn't know what I was doing. So I was learning, which is actually really good because you've almost got like a real case study to work on. Sure. And then you're learning for that case study. Yeah, where I find, I don't know, like sometimes when you do like tutorials and stuff, it will be like, oh, you're going to build a website that does something which you're probably never ever going to build, and you kind of lose interest in it. Where if you've got like a real case study, then okay. But that was my
but that's a good
case.
example. So then it's almost like, don't forget the client side as you're going through a course. Then it's almost like you could be halfway through the course, feel completely lost, but also thinking that that's a good time to reach out to clients so that those intersect at some point. Because if it takes 3 months to find somebody, you're going through the course along with it, and then you're going to keep learning, and then those two can intersect.
That is the hardest thing, and you hammered that home in your video about like your consulting job, like getting that first client, and like at some time you just need to like pull that Band-Aid off and actually do that. And I haven't had to do that necessarily, but like I guess for the Amazon business, actually like placing that first order instead of getting like frozen up in analysis, that sort of thing. So
you gotta pull the trigger at some point.
Yeah.
When you are somewhere like Bart, you can live on the fact you can live on a budget, so you can almost go there with your plan, like right, you give yourself 6 months to kind of learn something, then you want to find a client, like you just if you set out like a plan, the fact you are somewhere where it's a lot cheaper to live just makes that a lot more accessible, I think. You could, if you don't currently have a job and that is your plan of something to do, like going away to do it for like a year or so is pretty accessible, like obviously with a little bit of savings.
Give yourself plenty of runway. I mean, that's what we were talking about too when we first started, like just enough to keep investing in yourself or like growing your business.
We've been talking about that in the videos, like the cost of living. So if you're thinking even now about quitting your job to give yourself more time to work on your full-time business or finding a client or learning a new skill than in the States, and you think that might take you 4 months, or you have enough savings for 4 months, maybe those 4 months are actually 8 months somewhere else in a location that's a cheaper cost of living. So that'll give you more time to work on your project, and
more runway.
It'll get you on the road, and that's the whole point of this series of Life of Travel.
If you have any questions like we didn't cover that you think we should ask people in the future, make sure to let us know down below. This is our first time pretending we're Tim Ferriss and asking these sort of questions, so hey, I don't know. Congratulations. Thank you for being our guinea pig, Maddie.
Was that scary?
A little bit.
Okay. Boom, boom. We're doing that in the, okay.
Boom, boom, boom.
Perfect.
Okay. Good job, everybody.
That's
Now
it.
we'll take Matt to dinner. Oh,
Matt, you did a terrific job.
so good.
That went way better than.
It's nice to have a third person.